path that the Halloween franchise can go now, split into multiple different directions and completely open up for the taking. These are 5 things that I'd want in a reboot of the franchise. Should they go that direction? I know it's not necessarily the most popular way for them to go, but I think, given some of the things I'm going to talk about in this video, I'd be very, very happy with a reboot. And these aren't in order either. I've just kind of written down 5 things, but yeah. So number 1, as I mentioned in my last video, would be Aaron Armstrong as Michael Myers. If you haven't watched my last video, I do talk about this in a little bit more length. But Aaron Armstrong is someone that I think is very, very capable of playing Michael Myers. And considering a reboot, if we're going back in time, he may be the strongest candidate as such to play a 21-year-old Michael Myers that has just escaped from the mental prison. You know, I said this in the last film, so I'm not going to touch on it too much, but yeah, if I was told there was a reboot, but we're getting Aaron Armstrong playing Michael, I'd be very comfortable to just let it happen, let it take place, because I think what we would get would be great. It would stay respectful to the shape and the things that we all love that make him scary. And yeah, should they make even more films, he's somebody that I think could possibly play him for years. Number 2 is going to be, if there is a Loomis, making him a likable guy as he was in the original. This is definitely an arguable point, but I feel like if we're rebooting the franchise, having a Loomis is going to be great, providing it is a good one and not what they did with Loomis in Rob Zombie's Halloween. That to me was a terrible idea, making him like an unlikable guy. He just wasn't a good guy, and I don't blame necessarily Malcolm McDowell or anything like that. I don't think he was actually bad casting at all in terms of like the looks. It was just kind of how his character was written and developed over the 2 films that I just didn't like. So I think if we do get a Loomis, it needs to be a good one and somebody that we can hopefully love just the way we did love Donald Pleasance. Very, very big shoes to fill, I understand that, but I think just try it. My next point is going to be about the mask. I would love the mask to be worked on by the same people that worked on the David Gordon Green trilogy, if possible. I've got 3 names written down here, so apologies if anyone I have missed. Feel free to correct me in the comments, but Christopher Nelson, Vincent Van Dyke, and Danielle Tirananzi. I'm going to say, I probably butchered that, but those 3 working on that flashback mask from Halloween Kills, it is one of my favourite masks in the whole franchise. The way that that looked with the 1978 lighting and mood, I found with the performance of Aaron Armstrong, it was terrifying. And I think it really got across that idea that he's just a shape. He felt like a phantom when he's walking towards Lonnie. That with just the old tune, I thought it was incredible. And that mask, I definitely want to see that in a Halloween film in like a longer extent. Coming at number 4, we're going to have brand new characters. This one, I don't personally see it as very controversial, but it would be a big switch from what we've kind of known as the Halloween universe, I guess. And that would be for me to forget about a Laurie Strode, forget about an Annie Brackett, forget about a Tommy Doyle, a Lindsay Wallace. Let's just like completely separate this reboot as such and let's get some new characters in this franchise. And I understand from my previous point, does that mean you kind of would have to get rid of Loomis? And if they did, I'd completely get why, because it may just be a case of like, you don't want to mess with what's already perfect in what Donald Pleasance did. So if they did do that, I would not be angry as such. But yeah, like just comparing it to what Scream have done, obviously Scream did still have their legacy characters and still do, which I think realistically with Halloween, with this trilogy that's just been, we've kind of missed that boat. And we can't really do that because we'd be bringing back Laurie, Brackett, which to me I'm just not very interested in right now. You know, I think we do need a new Final Girl type of character that's just going to add some fresh air into the franchise. I think it's craving it in a way. And I think what we got with Allison earlier on in this trilogy was strong. In 2018, I thought she was a great addition. We were kind of getting to know her character. And then in Kills, her being kind of like the driving force that's after Michael made it not feel that bad that we were having Laurie Strode just in a hospital bed. Like she was adding to the film. So I think if we can do that again and we can link another character to Michael and be excited for when those 2 meet, that's going to be really key and crucial to branching off from the old cast. And then for my 5th and final point, it's to bring back Michael's key qualities, almost top priority within the storytelling. We definitely got hints of it in the David Gordon Green trilogy, but something that's needed, in my opinion, is allowing Michael to just have the time in scenes to do what he does best. And it's just so much scarier what John Carpenter managed to create in the original with the length of some of the scenes. You know, he finds you, he stalks you, he kills you, and it's all in his own time, and we got to see that in like creative ways as like a watcher. Because for me, when I watch the original, that to me is what makes it terrifying. It's the idea of how like you don't know where he is as such, and it may make for a more slow paced movie, but I think forgetting about like the rush of making a trilogy where the end of the film has to link on to the next film, or there has to be a direction, I think we just make almost like a standalone film that can be watched on its own, like the original could, because I think that way we just get way more time seeing people get picked off one by one, or whatever it is where we're watching Michael just stalk someone. It gives way more time for that, and it's going to make it so much better. But yeah, if we do get a reboot, there are 5 things that I'd want put in it anyway. If there is anything else you can think of, just put it in the comments